Welcome YouTube to this Easter egg hunt and comic references in X-Men Apocalypse. So I've seen the film, I should have a review up very soon of it, and I'm also going to explain the post-credits scene. But for now, let's jump in and have a look at some of the references to the comics, and let's go! So near the start of the film, we see Warren Worthington, aka Angel, aka Peter Beale from EastEnders, take on Nightcrawler in a German sideshow circus death match. However, briefly before that, we get introduced to Angel as the absolute badass, and there is a fat mutant who he is fighting, who flollops to the ground. Well, that is none other than the Blob. The Blob was a mutant in a sideshow circus who Professor Xavier wanted to recruit to the X-Men. However, he did not join them due to his obnoxious attitude, and then actually ends up joining Magneto. So he ends up being pretty much a bad guy, and you could see him in X-Men Origins Wolverine. So it's pretty cool they added him in. So in the Blob form here. But yeah, I thought it was a really cool thing to do and a nice little spot. So when the kids go to the mall and teach Nightcrawler the American way of doing things and having fun and just general Western capitalism in the 80s, they go and see a little movie known as Return of the Jedi. Now, a conversation ensues of them talking and discussing which is the best one. Jubilee, awesome, says that it's Empire Strikes Back. And of course, Jean Grey at the back says, well, the third movie always sucks, which is a reference to the terrible X-Men 3, The Last Stand, which is it's just a terrible movie. It just absolutely ruins what they built in X-Men 1 and 2, and just, well, I'm sure there's videos online where you can just look and hear someone talk for hours and upon hours about how bad that film is. So we were all eager to see just what the role of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine would be in X-Men Apocalypse. Going by the trailer, we thought it would be kind of a Weapon X thing. So it turns out it actually was. He was actually in the Weapon X program when he is sprung by Nightcrawler, Cyclops, and of course Jean Grey. And Jean Grey showing the affection to Logan, which we all know is there's something there. There is something there. So he's got his look from the Marvel Comics Presents Weapon X comic, which pretty much explains all the Weapon X stories and how he turned into be a absolute badass. But it's really cool that they've added that in, and it's a nice touch and should lead us on to a very interesting Wolverine 3. So the guy actually finding the mutants was known as Caliban. Caliban was actually recruited by an evil villain known as Callisto, who knew Caliban for his mutant tracking abilities, and then they joined a group known as the Morlocks. Interestingly, Callisto actually captured Angel and helped him to fight the X-Men, which is a very interesting turn of events based on this film. So at the end of the film, we see the newly grouped X-Men together. We see Mystique in her white outfit, which she is most known for. We see Scott with his brand new Cyclops eyeglasses visor things, which are similar to Geordie LaForge in Star Trek. Probably not that much, actually. Never mind. Forget I said that. But anyway, we see them in the Danger Room, which is pretty much where the X-Men train and prepare for battle. So it pretty much turns a multi-function gym when you think about it, where it just changes and adapts to whatever training or whatever situation they are preparing for, which is pretty cool, and it's pretty cool to see in action. Another interesting addition as well in the Danger Room at the end of the scene was where you saw the robots that came in, which served as the training lesson, they were actually the Sentinels from Days of Future Past. I'm not sure if you noticed that. It's pretty obvious, but it is quite a thing to miss because they did seem smaller in the danger room. So they're starting off pretty small there. So in the final battle of the apocalypse, pretty much it's coming. It's over. The world is at an end. But stand fast, Jean Grey, for she saves the day as Phoenix. Pretty awesome to see this, which I thought was amazing, and the way they portrayed it was really, really good, actually. Phoenix is a kind of a cosmic entity that takes over Jean Grey in the comics, and then is pretty much, again, taken over by a member of the Hellfire Club, which you'll remember from the X-Men First Class, and, well, chaos ensues, and Phoenix then becomes Dark Phoenix, and that's pretty bad. That was what you saw in the original 3 X-Men films that caused so much chaos and was handled terribly. So yeah, the Dark Phoenix saga was pretty much absolute chaos, and it's interesting to see where they're going to go with this, which is a very big addition this early on, kind of, in the story of the Sophie Turner Jean Grey. So at the end of the film, we got a nice little post-credits scene where a suited man enters in the Weapon X program bunker, and there's a lot of cleanup going on because old Wolverine has absolutely destroyed the place. So the men in black, the dudes who come in, they go through, they go to the kind of sample area, and they take out some Weapon X blood vials and put them in a suitcase, and once it's slammed shut, it says Essex Corp. So this is a very, very big hint to Nathaniel Essex, who is known as Mr. Sinister. He was turned into Mr. Sinister by Apocalypse. So Nathaniel Essex, well, now known as Mr. Sinister, was a 19th century pharmacist and scientist, and he actually come into contact with Gambit. So this is pretty big because it's setting up Gambit, and also it could be setting up X-23, which is the other version of Wolverine currently in the comics, and is it is the main Wolverine kind of storyline at the moment. So, and it has been confirmed X-23 will be in the X-Men movies, possibly taking over from Hugh Jackman after the Old Man Logan story that's going to be running. So, hope you liked that video. Drop a like and a subscribe, and I'll be back soon with more. Goodbye.